had to provide a service that you could go and get 100% covered for, but you're gonna come to me instead and pay out of your pocket. So it wasn't even like I'm comparing myself to people like that. It was like I had to be so good that like you're gonna want to pay me instead of going to someone else for free.
Welcome guys to the Human Ambition Podcast, where we get people with a passion and a story. Today I'm your host Joshua Dara.
And I'm your host Umair, and this is a Vancouver takeover. Today we have Kinkrish. Krish was born in Brampton, raised in Abbotsford, went to UFV while he was studying. He was running 3 jobs at the time, right?
Yeah.
Personal training, working at a supplement store, and working at university. Krish was smart, but he realized he was done with school and he started his own thing. He started his business through his apartment during his days off, of course. Fast forward to now, he's turned that apartment into a clinic, and he works as a kinesiologist, Krish.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming out here, brother.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Joshua, for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it. So tell us a bit about yourself, man. What's a normal day look like for you?
So yeah, a normal day now looks like I'll wake up. I have like an online calendar that I look at where people that book in with me, that book in sessions, it's all done online. Cool. So then I'll be able to see who's booked for the day. And then I'll pretty much drive to the clinic, which is about like a 10-minute drive from my place.
Nice.
And then once I get there, I just kind of like prep my equipment. I do a lot of like different kinds of treatments.
Cool.
And then clients come in, introduce myself, see what's causing the problem, and then start problem solving.
Nice.
Let's go back, bro. So we know we kind of know your life after university. What was before university, bro?
So before university, I was always into like WWE and like that kind of stuff. So like
this guy's a huge WWE fan.
WWE fan, yeah. Because I remember like in grade 1, you had to make those like poster boards, and it was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'm like, I want to be a wrestler, right? Yeah. So like that part of it, like I was always into like the anatomy, like the training, like how jacked up those guys were. Yeah. So that was like a big part of my like growing up. And so I mean, growing up in like in a traditional like a Fijian family, there's like a big emphasis on like doing something of like status and education. So I was trying to bridge like what can I do that's like still smart but like have something that I'm interested in. And then I found out like kinesiology was a thing, and so I kind of from an early age always had my eyes on like, hey, like how can I get bigger, how can I get stronger. And because of that, I had a really big ego. So like middle school for me, like where most people's high school was, I hit puberty really early. Middle school, I was just getting a lot of scraps and a lot of fights. Had my nose reconstructed twice. And then in grade 8, I got like really badly beat up, and like my face was all messed up. And my parents pretty much grounded me for like the whole like 9, 10, and 11. And so I didn't do anything else but just work out. Like I wasn't allowed to play team sports, so I never played like football or rugby because like it was just because of my past. But yeah, so I just stuck to training, and that alone like just like guided me. So that was pretty much like my middle school and high school. It was weird. I did theater, so like I love being around people. I'm super like extroverted. I love like having jokes and stuff. But I was always still kept to myself when it came to like sports and stuff. So, for example, for prom, like I was the MC of a prom, but I'd never been to a single house party. So everyone knew me, but I was never like out there.
Wow.
So it's weird.
What happens after high school? So going into college, what was the transition? What did you do?
So like I went straight. Like I applied for university and I went straight. I went to our local one because I have an older sister who I look up to. Super smart. She went to like UBC, and like she kind of bounced around some universities, and she told me, she's like, Krish, you love to be around people. Like don't just be another statistic in your classes. Like go to a school that has less people, so you get to know your professors and stuff like that. So like I had decent grades in high school, but I only applied to UFV because I was just like I just need that interaction, and I don't want to be just another face. So I went straight there. It was a big change because it was like a huge course load. You go from like school where you can like not have to really try that hard and get by to like all of a sudden like courses and labs and
now it's on you, right?
Now it's on me, and then the course material is so much heavier. Like so, first year kin, like similar to sciences, is like all heavy anatomy, so like bones, muscles, nerves, arteries, all that stuff, and you're just like, okay, like I gotta. Now it's like you can't just make it up the day before. Right. It's like you either know the bones or you don't. Like that's it. So it was a tough transition, but I think just getting tossed in there, like you're left with the choice. Is like, do you just like rise up to it, or do you let it crumble you? So
so it's like really clear.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
That's tight, dude. Okay, so to be a kinesiologist, you just need your undergrad. Don't you need to do a master's?
No, so to be a kinesiologist, you just need your 4-year bachelor's.
Okay.
and then you can pretty much like, you have to have specific courses that you've taken.
Yeah.
So you can have a kines degree but not have finished those courses. And then you can't be a kinesiologist, but you have to have core courses that are like exercise science courses. If you've completed those, then you can become a kinesiologist. But for example, like a physiotherapist, a chiropractor, there's another professional like 2-3 years you have to like do to become that. The main difference between those disciplines and say a kinesiologist is they have the ability to diagnose a problem, so they can like formally write up like, this is your problem.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm limited to just the treatment. And like I can't tell you this is exactly what you have on a paper and be like, this is like what you have. And for me, I thought that was a downfall, but it actually ended up being a strength, because you realize once you label someone with something, you're actually like limiting them to that problem. Right. And now like say you had a problem called sciatica where your hip hurts. Say you just had the hip pain, and then I told you had sciatica. And now you're gonna go home and Google what that is. And you're gonna see 6 other symptoms, and you're like, oh yeah, I think I have that too. And then those start to appear in weird ways, and you're like, Whereas like with me, like you come and you tell me your problem, I treat the problem. We don't have to worry about what
it is.
Like formally in literature, what it is, right?
That's so cool.
And so I thought it was a hindrance, but it's actually made me a lot better as a therapist. Because it's changed the language I use. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
And so like starting off doing it from your apartment, what was it like? Were you a little scared? Was it legal? Did you have like your actual license? Like what was going on?
Yeah, so
That's a good question.
So what happened was I used to work at a supplement store, and I was there since I was 17. So in high school I worked at a supplement store and a gym. Like I started working super early. Okay. And because working at a supplement store, you get people that come in with problems and stuff, and like I was finishing my degree, and I had friends that finished the degree and that were doing the kinesiology work. I wasn't. I was still in the supplement store 6 years past. Like that was my main job. So I was sending all these clients to one of my friends in Langley, and pretty much I ended up tearing my pec. I went to the girl and I sent her all these clients. I didn't even know what she did. I just knew I didn't want to like be in that industry. I wanted to do business and like open up a supplement store. And so once I tore my pec, I went there, and then I realized that she was like doing all this stuff on me, and I'm like, holy shit, like this is actually helping me. I'm like, this is like pretty cool. And then I'm like, so the people I sent you, I'm like, they pay and stuff, and she's like, yeah, they all pay out of pocket. It's like $115 a session, and I'm like, holy shit. She's like, yeah, you've gotten me like pretty much like full-time booked with all the people you sent me, and I'm like, shit. And then in my head, like I'm an opportunist, right? That night I went home and applied for my business license.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I'm just like, what am I doing?
Right.
And I'm like, here I am stuck in retail, and like I thought retail was like that was gonna be my thing.
Like that was game.
That was game. Like I love supplements. I'm into working out. Like this is meant for me. I love business. But I just saw the opportunity. I'm like, healthcare's on the rise, and I'm like, retail space is going up. And I had to switch. I was in that store for 6.5 years.
Wow.
And I made that choice. I was like, this is it. Like I just.
So, bro, okay, so
that's
what point, were you finished school at that time, or what was that point?
Yeah, that was after I finished school. Yeah.
For like 22, 23?
21.
21. And how many months after? Like, was it a year after, like a year or so, or like
maybe after like a few months.
A few months?
Yeah.
Cool. So everything was still fresh.
Everything was still fresh. But the thing is, in the kin program, you don't do much hands-on. It's very theory.
Yeah.
Super theory-based, right?
Yeah.
So when I started, what happened is the friends that I was sending there, they're like, yo, Krish, like you graduated, like the same thing that like your friend did, like how come you don't do this stuff? Because I was sending her people, and I'm like, yeah, good question. I'm like, how come I don't, right? And then I'm like, I did this one course on a side, like it wasn't part of school, but it was called soft tissue release, where you actually like work on people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck yeah, I did this course, and I have a table, like a massage table in my closet from when I did that course. And I'm like, shit, I'm like, yo, bro, if you're down, like, I'll work on you, right? I'm gonna come afterward. Because I was the manager at the supplement store, which was like a salary position, which meant they overworked you to get more than what they're paying you.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, I was there every single day. So I would work till 9 p.m. And the very first videos of me working on people was 10:30 p.m. at my apartment. So, like, when I sent you a message, it said, like, it was on my days off. I meant, like, on my nights off after work.
Right. So the current's not over, man.
Yeah, like, there was no days off. And yeah, so, like,
that's crazy, man.
The blessing that helped me, like, get to even where I am is, like, having the friends that, like, I had sent there let me kind of experiment, like, you know, and let me kind of, like, dust off my fingers and, like, get them, like, is my elbow in the right place kind of thing, because, like, that kind of stuff you need, like, hours and hours of practice, you know. It's like, yeah, I don't think it feels right, it's kind of close to the bone, right, like, oh shit, okay. Right. And then, like, learning like that. So man, it was scary. It was scary as hell.
I bet it was, yeah.
Is there like a waiver you gotta make them sign before the session?
Oh,
like,
for sure, yeah.
yeah.
So there's like a release form and stuff, but like, man, it was just my friend, so I didn't sign anything. And then like, since I wasn't a practicing kinesiologist member, I hadn't like once you finish, you still gotta apply to be part of the board of kinesiology, right? So I hadn't done that yet. But like everyone knew I was like finished school because the degree was there, but I wasn't actually a practicing member, which meant I didn't have my insurance. So like I was just doing this stuff out of my condo, like not proper insurance for a bit because it was just homies, right? And then what was I gonna say? Yeah, it was just like a really risky, and how the condo is the zoning for it is you're not allowed to have a business in the condo, so clients can't be coming in and out. So like I was in breach of so many things.
Wow.
But it was just for me to kind of like dust off my fingers and just like it's just like having a friend. Let me just try this, like, you know.
Right.
That's actually epic.
That's insane. And how long did you gain that confidence in testing the waters until you could say, you know what, I don't want to work this supplement store again?
So what happened was I love marketing and like sales and like for me, even though now like my education is a kinesiologist, I still think of myself as a business owner, like as a clinic owner. Like that's my main thing. I love the art of kinesiology, but I still think of myself as a business owner kind of thing. And so what happened was your question saying like how long did it kind of take?
Because you said you're doing your nights off and your days off.
Right. So
like,
how long did it take for me to get like confident?
And then so you can go full time and quit your job.
Oh, full time and quit my job. So I wasn't planning on quitting my job. But the thing is, the reason I was saying that stuff about business is I was growing the supplement store. And the goal was with the franchise owner, the guy who created the brand, was that after I graduate, I'll be here for 2 years, and at the end of the 2 years, I buy the store. Like that was the goal. So like otherwise, like my sister's a lawyer in Australia. Like we're supposed to do big things. All this pressure on us, right?
Right.
And then it was, and so like I knew I had to do something. I'm like, well, if I have a store, that seems reputable, right?
Right.
And so a year came, and like I had increased the store sales by a crazy amount. For example, like this is like 3-4 years ago now. I had no marketing budget, and we had all this competition right next to our store, and I had to like literally double our last year's sales.
Wow.
So like say it was 5K, had to hit 10K. So what I did was I didn't have any marketing budget, but I had a shit ton of free samples. So I'm like, what can I do? Every kid that came in, and if anyone's working at a supplement store, do this. Like it'll save you a bunch of like the upper sales are crazy.
Okay.
Every kid that came in, I'm like, yo, bro, I'll give you these 3 samples, 3 days. All I had was 3 flyers. You take a picture of this, you Snapchat story it, you Instagram story it, every day. That's it. And like I gave away hundreds of samples. Every kid storied it. Boxing Day came on, doubled the sales, 10K. Yeah. When I went into like a warehouse in like our main office, HQ in like Maple Ridge, he was like, yo, what's your 10K, what's up? Because like that's what we did.
Dude.
And then he told me, you should have hit 15. That's when I knew I had to get out. Because no matter what I did, they always wanted more.
Right.
And like that's when my sister was visiting from Australia. I didn't even go to the airport and pick her up. I didn't see her in a year. I had to like get picket signs to put on the roads. Like I was working like a dog, man. And I talked to him, look, I did all this, the numbers seem right. I'm like, I don't think I want to wait 2 years. I'm like, I know everything. Like I did the hiring, I did the scheduling, I got the products, I did the ordering. I'm like, dude, I'm fully in control of this business. Like, I'm like, I talked to my dad. I'm like, will you help me, like, go into this business? I'm like, I got half. You can put it in half, and then I'll pay you out.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, sure. If that's what you think. I go up to him and I tell him, and he's like, no, you're underestimating the numbers. They're not right. And I'm like, oh shit, okay.
Really?
And that's when I started like working a little bit harder on that stuff. And I'm like, hey, like maybe this will be a good side. Made me push a bit. And he started seeing that, and he's like, yo, you're spending a lot more time doing this. And I'm like, no, I'm still like, my bases are covered. I'm putting in at least like 50-hour work weeks, at least 60. Like I'm going above and beyond.
Right.
And I told him, I think I might go to school like in 6 months, like go become a massage therapist, like some stuff that's more similar to what I'm doing.
Right.
Because it doesn't seem like there's a role for me here. The next week I came back, he was like, hey, I had a vision. I don't want the store anymore. I want a franchise. I just want to focus on building more franchises. I need you to tell me by next week if you can take the store.
Wow.
And I'm like, dude, that's quick. And me, I was like jaded by emotion. I'm like, this is everything I wanted. I'm like, I went home, I'm like, yo, dad, like this is it. Like I need to do it. And he's like, didn't you just say last week the numbers weren't right? He's like, what's changed? And then I'm like, man, this guy's a smart businessman. Like he's seen me about to leave. And he's like, shit, if he leaves, store sales are gonna go down. If I at least sell the store to him, at least I can keep a franchise free and use him as a base model to sell other franchises. Like, look, this guy did really well. you can open a store, and then he'll make a franchise fee off me. And I'm like, damn, like this guy's an opportunist just like me. And so I was like, man, I'm like, made me think, right? And then I'm like, hey, that next week I quit because I'm like, I don't want to be around this. That was after 6 years. Like, decision like
You're
that.
so close to it.
So close. So I was making maybe $500 a month off what I was doing at that time, like just on my Kine stuff, which is like maybe like 4 or 5 clients a week. Sometimes once a day, sometimes twice a day. A lot of days nothing. And my overhead was at least like for my rent and my thing was $1,300.
Wow.
And I told myself, if this doesn't work out, like I'll go to school in like a year or something. Like I'll figure something out. But let me try this. And I never knew how scary it felt because I was there and I had like mortgage to pay, bills to pay, and like I'm on my own, right? And I'm only making this much. It's the worst place to be in because your clients aren't like guaranteed, right? Everyone's coming and they're only like friends coming.
Right.
So it's like you can't live like that, not knowing if you have money coming in the next week or like the next day. And so all you can do is like market like crazy. Tell people you'll come in, like I'll work on you for free, or just be like, or start researching and watching videos. And that's literally all I did. And then that 6 months came by, and by the time that 6 months came in, where I was like, hey, I'm gonna like go and do more school, I was already so busy that the people in the condo were like, yo, you gotta like stop what you're doing, find another place. And so then what happened was I had to rent out my parents' basement. So it wasn't even like the clinic was next. It was like, hey, I'm done in my apartment. Now here's the next stage of my life is the 6 months in my parents' basement. And that's when I started taking strangers. So that I quit because of the circumstances at work. And there wasn't even like, it never even got to that point where it was like, okay, I'll break even and now it's a smart time to quit. It was just like, yo, like work's overworking me. I can't grow both at the same time anymore. Because I could only do so much. Like that 500 extra was like 9 p.m.s and like a Sunday that I would finish off early. It wasn't like that's all I could do. Like I couldn't take anymore. But it was like I'm losing like 3,500 from my like main job, and like it was nice because at first it was like the 500 plus that I'm making a little bit extra. Then all of a sudden I take a huge pay cut, and I went from like a nice like 4 to
now it's like all based on your time. Now it's based on your production, right?
Totally.
And that's and you were like like your back was against the wall.
Totally.
So now it's just based on you. Like if you want to eat and survive, it's all on you. Man.
It's all on you. And even in business, like even in retail, there's days where you know it's on you, like your marketing and stuff. But sometimes you look outside and you're like, fuck, it's sunny. Like maybe people are outside in the park. But with this, it's like, no, there is no sun. It's you. Like there's literally, you can't blame the season. You can't blame anything. If it's slow, it's 100% you. And for some reason, even though as much as I ran that business, for some reason, I just didn't fully think like that. Until it was 100% me. Where it was like, dude, it's all on me. It doesn't matter the sun's out, rain's out, snowing, whatever. Like it's, I can do something about it. And yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
And that insecurity just made me like do everything I could and like,
That's dope.
Oh, that's scary, but it's so inspiring,
right? And think about because you didn't plan it, and it just happened.
No.
And now you're like, okay, what am I gonna do now? Right? Dude, that's really cool, dude. And I feel like that story resonates with a lot of people that are successful or that are at least doing something on the way to be successful.
Totally.
You know, it's never like planned. Like, okay, I'm gonna work, and then after 3 or 4 months, I'm gonna have enough money working. It's never planned.
No. I mean, you can make a plan, but it never stays the plan. And the biggest thing about it is when people ask me too, because I get a lot of younger guys, because they're still in school that are like around our age. And they ask like what was like the thing, right? And I'm like, man, like you gotta make yourself uncomfortable. Like like
and it's not always about money too. You were resourceful with what you had.
It wasn't about money. When I started, like when I did that first course, which was like halfway through my semester, I just wanted to practice for a bit at that time, and I would drive to people's houses, and I'd say, okay, $15 for half an hour, like not including mileage or whatever, and like let me work on you for practice. And then when I started, it was still like $40 for like a treatment kind of thing. And people see it now that don't know me. They'll be like, hey, he charges like 100 something an hour or whatever. Like he's probably making bank. Like they'll times the hours, they times how many days I work, and they're like, oh, he's making so much, right? But like, man, I didn't start this even thinking about money. I was just like, and if you go on Google and you type in salary for a kinesiologist, it's like $40K a year. Like the median wage for a kinesiologist is $17 an hour.
Wow.
And the difference between a kinesiologist and say like a massage therapist, a physiotherapist, a chiropractor, a nurse, those are primary health caregivers. If you go, you get benefits from your school, it'll cover some of the session. If you go, you get your MSP, it'll cover some of it. Kinesiologists, we're not there yet, not in BC. In Ontario we are, not in BC. So essentially, I had to provide a service that you could go and get 100% covered for, but you're gonna come to me instead and pay out of your pocket. So it wasn't even like I'm comparing myself to people like that. It was like I had to be so good that like you're gonna want to pay me instead of going to someone else for free.
Right. That's where like the real value was.
Yeah.
And like that's what made me like learn so much and think of new ways. I'm like, hey, what's this cupping stuff about? What's this blading stuff about? How is it gonna help my clients? How can I help my game? Because I had to be so different to take someone from someone who can go somewhere for free and then come and be like, no, I want to pay him for his service.
Oh, so you do cupping and everything there too?
I do cupping and everything.
That's so dope.
Yeah.
That's sick.
That's so dope.
That's a cool story.
And okay, so you're in your apartment for about 3-4 months doing it, and
Yeah.
you switched your parents' apartment for 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
Then was it straight jump open your clinic? How did that work?
Yeah, so it got to the point where like I started getting like way beyond my friends. Like their friends started coming in.
Yeah.
And then like I ended up doing this online booking stuff. I'm like, oh, let me see online booking. And then literally anyone that can see Instagram was coming. And at my parents' house, I was getting people from Surrey, from Port Coquitlam, from Vancouver coming. I had a guy come from Victoria. And I was like, holy, like these are all kinds of people. And the thing is, under the back of my head, I'm thinking like, this is all coming to my parents' house, right? And I'm like, this is like a sketch, right?
Yeah.
And like there's a sign that says King Consulting in front of the door, and it says go to the right, and like I had it like decorated like that, but it's still my parents. And like you gotta take people, like there's no like hours. Like when people say as a business, like as an entrepreneur, like you can set your own hours. No, your clients set your hours. You don't set your hours. Like
until you hit that level.
Until you hit that level. Like if they want to come at 10 p.m., I'm like, come. I've had sessions at midnight, like, you know,
right.
And like other physio can't do it. I can. Who's gonna get the work, right? The guy's back hurts. He wants to come in.
Right.
I'm gonna get that work, right?
Right.
And
it goes so much longer than that. I think it's about relationship too, right?
Absolutely.
When they tell somebody else,
especially the beginning stages, right?
Right.
You have to go bend backwards and do all
Yeah.
that shit for your customers.
It's not a 9 to 5. It's everything
Right.
after that you're working, because that's when the other people aren't.
Exactly. And that's where you have that edge, man.
Oh, totally, totally. And so to go back to your question there, when it became in my head inconvenient to my parents, and when I thought I could take on a lease, is when I decided, okay, I'll go into the clinic. Okay. And so what happened was there was these new spaces opening up by my house by a gym, and I'm like, wow, this is a perfect location. I went, and the price was so much. And my dad's like, oh, that's a bit tough. And I'm like, yeah, I can do it, but like I don't even know if I'll be breaking even. Yeah. And then I was writing the offer, and I just thought to my head, I'm like, no, this isn't it, because like every decision I made, even though there was risk to it, it was a calculated risk. Yeah. Even though I was only making $600 and my overhead was $1,300, I still had some savings that could like float me if like I needed to. I'm never that risky. Like there's risk, but I still got to be calculated about it to some degree.
Right.
And with this, I'm like, yo, this is a shell. It's a brand new place. There's no plumbing. There's no nothing. I'm gonna have to put in equipment. I have to get everything new. Like it's gonna take time to build. Like it's gonna cost me everything. I'm gonna be like in the red for like 3 years. Like, and I can't operate out of that. Because then if someone comes in, like what if I'm thinking I need the money? Then I'm gonna make a decision based on him, where I might tell him to come in extra when he doesn't need to, and then they can sense that this guy's out for the money. I never wanted to be like that. Like imagine if you were working or you were doing this, and it's like, and you had all the money in the world. You'd be so relaxed, you'd be just offering it because you just want to offer it. Yeah. And that's how I was doing it. People felt that, and everyone that came in, I'm like, yo, here are the exercises, here's the things you can do on your own, so you never have to come back to me. And I'm like, I don't want you to come back to me. I want you to fix yourself. Like I'm giving you the tools, you go do it. And then people like they like that, you know. Yeah. And then if they're ready, they come back.
Right.
And so that deal didn't work out where I wanted to go. The next day, in a medical building, right in the heart of Abbotsford, there was a sale. Some neurologist got a job at the hospital for like 300 something K a year, and he just took his stuff and left. So he was just sitting there empty, and he just needed to sell it quick. And it was fully renovated. This guy was planning on lifing it there. So he had a kitchen built in, all new tile, like everything brand new, insane, like in-ceiling speakers, like an amazing place. And it was half the price that I offered for the other one. And I'm like, done. I wrote an offer to buy the place.
Oh, shit.
Ended up getting it.
You bought the place?
I bought the place.
Damn, bro, that's sick.
Bro, we're at a business seminar the other day, right?
Yeah.
And the key to owning a business is owning the business. Like,
Actually owning
yeah.
the business.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man, that's dope.
And this all happened like within a year. So like from going from my apartment to having a clinic, and now I'm renting out space. Yeah.
Okay, so you're 24 years old. You own your office.
Yeah.
You own because you said you're mortgaging your condo, so you own
I
your
own the
condo.
condo, yeah.
Fucking 24.
And like what?
And you're renting out space.
Right. What's next here? Have you, like, before we even started this podcast, I asked you a question.
Right.
Are you thinking about outsourcing, hiring somebody, training him, and then he does a little bit of your legwork?
Yeah, so me myself, I took a really off route for kinesiologists. Kinesiologists can get coverage. It's not through MSP, but we get it through ICBC. For people that are motor vehicle accidents, they'll hire kinesiologists to do the active rehab.
Yeah.
So that's the stuff that, like, you'll see someone that was in a car accident, they're in the gym, and like someone's there training them through it, and then we get coverage for that. So I actually didn't go into that side, the guaranteed money side, because I didn't want to, like, I was just doing what I wanted to do because it was fun, like the treatment side.
Right.
So I'm going to keep with that, but I'm bringing on a girl now, and she's going to bring on that side of things.
Gotcha.
And so that's a way I can expand the business without necessarily having to offer more space, because that's done at gyms, that's done at rec centers, ICBC covers the drop-in, so I can keep hiring kins so long as they're good. And do that without having to keep giving up space. Whereas like a massage therapist, they need a room to practice out of.
Right.
So you're limited.
Because that's the thing, right? Like I was listening to Samuel this other day, right? You can either work in your business or on your business, right?
Right.
And you can't work in your business to grow it.
Exactly.
Right?
And so like that's funny you mentioned that, because this last couple of weeks, like I was working a lot in my business.
Yeah.
And what made me so like what helped me like kind of like shoot out in the beginning is it was half and half, because like it was half and half because I only had half to work in my business, but then everything else is like, how can I expand the skills and all that stuff? And then I started doing things like I started outsourcing to like China. I made stainless steel shaker bottles. So like you know those protein bottles, but like stainless steel, so they don't break, they don't smell.
Nice.
And then so I did like cool things like that. I made my own like a lot of companies, physio companies, they offer bands, right?
Okay.
But then I did my own band, so like I have my own logo on it. And then I just give them to clients. Like if the client comes in, they're already spending so much money. What's bands that cost me like, you know, like $5-6 to make, like free. And it's a huge thing. And then my name's always in their house, you know.
Right.
There's always a reminder.
So now a piece of you, right?
A piece. So like shakers, things like that, like just cool things, you know.
Right. You're always trying to go above and beyond. That's smart.
And then as it got busier, because those things obviously they return more customers. Then I started working a lot in it, and that's where I'm at now. Where I kind of slowed down with some of the merch, but now I'm starting to like pick back up again. Because it's such a cool thing to have. Like, it's cool when you see someone with something of yours, and like you don't even know who that person is, and you see a story come up, and they're like, I always wanted this shaker, and you're like, I don't even know who you are, but they always wanted this King Consulting shaker. They don't even know who I am.
Right.
And like I went to Mucho one day, and like this freaked me out. I was just eating with my buddy, and he's like, I was wearing a King Consulting t-shirt, like the t-shirts that I made, right? I was just making them, and he's like, yo, you work there? And I'm like, like, you know, bro, like, that's my company, man. Like, I work there, right? And he's like, oh, shit. And I was like, yo, like, I was little, right? Abbotsford's a small town, like, so it's not that hard to do, but like, I was just like, shit, man, like, no, I don't work there, man. I'm like, I am Krish. Like, he's like, oh, shit. I'm like, yeah.
I don't know how you feel.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Oh, shoot. But yeah, okay, so but back to, so this is, I guess, backtracking to your parents' place.
Right.
How are you getting clients other than your friends and your friends' friends?
So clients was a lot of Instagram marketing.
Okay.
Like I said, any spare time I had, I'd just be posting videos like how to stretch muscles, how to do things. I ran a lot of contests.
Cool.
Marketing, because being in a supplement store, like I never thought, because if I listened to the people in the industry, they would have told me I'm retarded, like stupid. Why are you charging people? Why are you offering the service when like a physio can get that same thing for free? I'm coming from the supplement store. People are paying $200-300 for supplements that like hardly even work, right? So like for me,
exposed.
Yeah, like if you're not doing the right things, right? So for me to sell something that actually works, like taking care of your body, like learning how to like move efficiently, and like to get someone to pay out of their pocket, no problem. So I just had to express that. I just had to kind of sum down what I've been learning in my degree and bring it to general knowledge public, and just transcribe that knowledge. And then when people understand it, then they can be like, oh, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. Maybe he can help my shoulder.
Right.
That too, to relate that, what you just said, right? In between the lines is the belief system, right?
Yeah.
Like it, and a few of the courses I've been studying here and there, right, about like marketing and even like books I'm reading, right? If you don't believe in your product, you can't sell it. And like you said,
100%.
you have you know, that's easy. Like, oh fuck, you know, people could do it for free. Why are they gonna pay me? But your belief was like, no, they're gonna pay me because of me.
Yeah, 100%.
That's so
100%. And like I throughout school too, I competed in powerlifting because like I like lifting so much. I ended up like doing that as a thing on my own.
Right.
And so through that, I went through a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
And I had actually like early on when I was probably like 19, 20, I'd competed at nationals. So I was getting to a high level, and then I was prepping for something called the Arnold, which is an international level meet.
Right.
At this point, I was sponsored by supplement companies, like a big company called Allmax.
Dang.
Yeah, and this is when they were like big. So I was doing okay,
Yeah.
and like training really hard. But I was also driving back and forth to school, 6-7 classes. Like, you know how much sitting that is. So your muscles tighten up.
Yeah.
And because of that, I ended up having this problem called like anterior tilt, where like my body just doesn't move like how it should, and the right muscles don't engage.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't understand it. Like I knew what was going on, but I didn't have the full knowledge to be able to like kind of fix myself, and I didn't have the funds at that time to keep continuing treatment that was gonna help me. And so what happened was I just watched myself get weaker. I had, for example, at that age, like a 535 or like a 540 pound deadlift. And like that was good, and I needed to get to like 600 to like get to this international level. But as I was going through school, it just kept getting weaker and weaker to the point it was like 450, 400. And then I couldn't even lift without pain. So I just stopped powerlifting in general. And that turned me so off of like physical therapy that I never considered it a job option, which is ironic because that's what I'm doing now. Because once I went and I saw what can actually be done when you have a good therapist, I'm like, no, I want to be that therapist. And I want to be that therapist for the guy that's like me, who's growing up, who's like, no, this shit doesn't help. Like, you know, that he can come to a guy like me and be like, no, man, like I've been there. It halted my career. It's not going to halt yours. You need to do this.
Wow.
And then when they do it and it comes back, like, yo, bro, I hit a PR, you're like, that's my difference.
Right.
Like, you know?
That's a cool story, man.
Yeah,
I feel like
bro.
that's smart that you're displaying that on Instagram because that's kind of like your engine to get customers and get people to know you.
Instagram's crazy, man, because
Right.
it's just like I don't even know how the logarithm, like whatever works, how algorithms work,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
yeah.
I was showing up on people's explore feed all over BC, man.
Yeah.
And like the thing with this industry, it's either driven by motivation or frustration. Either you're motivated to get to the next level in your sport, and like so you want to like get to the like NHL or whatever, that next level sport. You'll put whatever money, you'll try whatever you can to get better. Or you're frustrated because you can't wake up in the morning and brush your teeth because your shoulder hurts. Those are the two driving factors in any business. Motivation, if those aren't there, it's not going to work. And fortunately, healthcare in that business, those two are like big. Like everyone wants to get to the higher level of performance, including parents for the children who want to see their kids succeed.
Yeah.
And then no one wants to be in pain.
Yeah.
And that's a huge frustration.
Right.
So Instagram was perfect because it captured that. And people that had those, they were willing. They didn't care where I was. They just saw that, okay, this guy, like, he's been doing good. I'll give him a shot. And because I offered like different things like cupping and things like that, they were just like, I'll give it a shot. And the thing was, what ended up being scary ended up being super helpful because I was the last resort. So people would go to those covered places first. They would go to the massage therapist. They would use up all their benefits. They would go to physio. They would go to chiro. They would get the MRIs. They would get the x-rays. They would get all these scans done. And they're like, whatever, I'll give this guy a try. Like, it's just worth it. Like, he'll put some cups on me. Maybe it'll work.
Right.
But when they come, they realize, like, okay, he's not really just about, like, the tools he's using. He's giving me education. And I'm like, shit, like, all right, like, this guy maybe can help me. And because of that, I was forced to start with the hardest clients. Where it was just like, I have a guy coming in with the shoulder, he had like 8 surgeries on it, like pages of MRIs and stuff like that, and I'm just like, and like I don't even have a system to take credit and stuff, so this guy's paying me like cold hard cash, and I'm like, I gotta figure this out. I got one shot. He's not gonna come back, it's not covered, like I got one shot. So that amount of pressure, when you see someone walk into your parents' house with like this big dude that's just like, yo man, the shoulder's been bugging me for 10 years, like, what can I do? You go and search everything you can, every case study you can, because like, dude, if he says something bad about it, that crushes your business right away.
Right.
But that pressure makes you the best, man. Like,
that's so interesting.
That's
man.
nuts,
and that's such a
bro.
cool story, and like how you shared it. I think that's like gonna be the base of your business. How people are gonna like mess with you, right?
Totally.
How people, because that's what people do. They mess with your story rather than
absolutely,
what you're providing.
absolutely.
So I think that's really cool, man. Keep sharing your story, dude. That's really cool.
Definitely, bro. So we're gonna be ending the podcast,
Sure.
but before we end, you seem so knowledgeable. You're so passionate about entrepreneurship. Do you read a lot or something, or where does this come from?
Yeah, I used to read a lot.
Okay.
I don't read too much. I mean, I read stuff that's applicable to my work, like different techniques and things like that. That'll get me like better in that kind of stuff. But as far as like self-help and things like that, not anymore.
Not anymore. Anything you can recommend to like the young listeners?
To the young listeners, I wouldn't really read. I would just start doing shit. Like reading's overrated. Like you can read a lot, but like read every article you want about getting your chest bigger. Is it gonna get your chest bigger?
No.
You got to go to the gym. You got to figure out what exercises work. Right. And the only way you can do it is not by seeing which like double-blind controlled study did that. Take it from a guy that did his undergrad thesis, like a research-based kind of thing. Yeah. It doesn't matter what you read, which one had the highest significance and P-scores, Z-score, whatever, right? Like you got to go and do it.
Right.
So like less reading, more doing.
Right. I think you learned a lot too just by guessing. Just putting yourself in situations where you feel pressured.
Totally.
And you feel uncomfortable, right?
Totally. Yeah, like you said, if I had anything to say, like people I think oversimplify, like they just overemphasize like passion, and they overemphasize like being like having to do something that you like really love and stuff. Because like for me, like the cupping was one of the big things I did. If you asked me a year ago, I would have never have guessed that like, I'm gonna be known for cupping in Abbotsford. Like, there's no way.
Right.
There's no way. And like one thing that I learned that was super important in one of my like psychology classes, it was so out there that like when you think about it, you're like, oh shit, that actually makes sense. Is your attitude doesn't dictate your behavior. And that took me a while to wrap my head around. So you probably think like, okay, what does he mean? Like if you think like if I have a positive attitude towards exercise, if I have a positive attitude towards like work, then my behavior is gonna reflect that. Yeah. It doesn't. Your behavior determines your attitude. So if you watch like National Discovery, you see a guy that's been working like sewage sanitation for 20 years. He's gonna be like, I love this job. I couldn't be more passionate about it. You're like, really? Like when you started, did you love this job? No, but he's been doing it for 20 years. His behavior determines his attitude. People that wake up every morning because they have now adopted that attitude towards their behavior where they're like, no, I'm a morning person. I love waking up every morning. It's not as you have to wake up every morning. Now that's your attitude. And now you actually do like it. So for me, I never had this attitude towards physical therapy. I just did it so much, I got good at it, and now I'm such a big advocate for it. But I realized that outside the snow globe. So like when people say you have to be passionate about something, you love it, no, it's not. It's not like that. You just have to do something enough and like do it enough where you kind of like it, and then watch. Once you're good at it, you'll like it. Everybody likes what they're good at.
Dude, agreed.
Yeah,
this is why I love doing the podcast. We get all the nuggets like this. Like,
you've been amazing, guys.
It's been
so
a great
far,
podcast so far, man. Holy crap.
So we're gonna run it down. The last 2 segments of the show.
Sure.
The first one is a 6-second hustle, where we give you 60 seconds to get a message off your chest, share something to maybe a younger version of yourself,
right,
or a message you want to spread. So you're gonna do that. And the second one is calling out who comes next.
Sure.
We forgot to say this in the beginning of the podcast, but Kinkrish was called out by Qazi. Thank you for calling him out. It was an amazing time having him. So again, thank you, Qazi.
Thank you for coming on.
Oh, 100%, man, for sure, man.
So we'll give you a few seconds to think about who you're gonna call out and what you're gonna say.
Sure. All right. So 60-second hustle. Don't be too concerned about not knowing what you want in life. Just go out there and try everything. So if you have any kind of worries about what you want to do in the future, what you're going to do for the rest of your life, no, nothing's set in stone. Try a lot of things. You won't know your favorite food on the menu unless you try all the items on the menu. So you have to go and just try different jobs, get out there, do it for free, and then when something like resonates in your heart, then stick with that. Don't be afraid to work hard. That's pretty much it.
Awesome.
So I'm gonna call out Dino from Abbotsford. He's the owner of Private Barbershop. That guy was a big inspiration for me starting out, so I'm calling out Dino.
Awesome, Dino. We're gonna be happy to get you on. And before we end this, dude, your whole journey, your success, your trial, your school, your work, and everything, if you could put all that in one word, what would it be?
One word.
One word.
23 words?
No. One word. Everything. The journey from like university, the hustle, everything in one word. What would that one word be?
Work.
Dang.
There you go.
Period.
Simple. 4 letters.
Everybody, go out there today and work.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
Man.
Pleasure
Thanks,
having
man.
you on, bro.
Thanks.
Until next time, guys.
Thanks for having me, man.
See you later.
Peace.
Yeah, here we come. Some kind of.
I wish I could have said this on the podcast, and like everyone comes from like a different background, and so we all have like different like a financial background, and some of us are like gifted where we didn't have to work as much to get like, you know, like if your stomach was always fed growing up, you're a lot luckier than a lot of people. And so the one thing I wish I could have said is like, you got to put in that work early as hell if you want to like do like anything big, because we were talking about how'd you get to your down payment. Like if I didn't work like crazy even throughout like high school and had 2 jobs in high school, I never would have been able to like fund this stuff. And so even if your like finances are covered for you from your parents, if you have like other dreams of your own, you won't actually fully realize it unless you put in the work and get that income. So you definitely have to like put in mad work, like, and like money is so important. Don't ever think nothing's about money, because like without it, like it proves your concept is working, which is the most important, if people are actually giving you money, and then it allows you to fund other opportunities. So like don't shy away from work.
Yeah, here we come.
Some kind of
Here we come. Here we come. Here we come.